Hello and welcome to Jill Cameron Creations. Today we are going to use a digital die cutting machine, my Silhouette, to do inlay hearts for a Valentine's Day card. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to put our paper on our cutting mat, and this is a brand new cutting mat, and I'm just taking some different colors of pinks and darker reds and putting them in basically a checkerboard pattern on my cutting mat. Very simple, very easy. This is so that I know that I have 4 panels and I know the approximate size of them and I know where they are on my cutting mat. That allows me to put everything on the screen as I need it. So we have a 12 by 12 cutting mat, and that's what I'm gonna set everything to in my paper size to 12 by 12, just so you have the overall picture of it, and it's a whole lot easier to do. I'm going to go over to my library and I'm going to find some nested hearts, and to do that I'm just going to use the search bar here, and I'm going to type in heart, and I have 9 nested hearts. I did purchase this from Silhouette. It's over in the store. And then I'm going to group my hearts because I want all of these to cut out. So I need all of these hearts. And so that I don't mess up on resizing them, or I don't mess up in moving one and not another and the rest of them, I'm going to group all of my hearts. And now they're all in one group. And the outer dimensions of the largest heart, when it comes on your screens, about 7 inches or so. But I need this, the widest I need it to be is 4 1/4, because that's the size of the panels on my cutting mat. So I make my heart about 4 1/4 inches wide, a little bit less, somewhere around in there, about, and then I will copy and paste and create 4 of them and then send them over to my machine to cut. And I'm just making sure that I have enough space, that it's where I need it to be, and then I'm going to use my grid mat on my screen to count, to see where everything needs to be and make sure that it's correct. It's not perfect placement because we're only going to use one of the outer hearts, so it doesn't have to be perfect, because some of the edges of those big outer hearts are going to get cut off, and that's perfectly fine. I just need to make sure that they are approximate. I just need one whole big heart. So we're going to do that, and then you just send it over to your machine and make sure that all of your settings are correct for the weight of paper that you're using, and make sure that that you're using the correct tool. If you have a newer Silhouette and you have 2 slots that you can cut from, one you can sketch from, etc. And I have been playing with doing some other stuff, so I'll show you what I mean. So I have lots of different things going on over here that are sketch and all kinds of weird stuff, so I need to make sure that I am actually cutting. And to do that, you want to make sure that your action says to cut, and then it's on auto blade, and my texture is heavyweight, and it is set to cut, and then I will just click send and send it over to my cutting machine. So there's that, all done. Woohoo! The other thing that sometimes a lot of people will struggle with is actually pulling the paper off of the mat. And you just pull off the outer edge of it, but to pull your design up does take a little bit of patience, especially if it's delicate. And I'm going to show just one of these, and it's wiggle it just a little bit and pull. Wiggle it just a little bit and pull. But one of these spatulas is the best thing ever for pulling your designs off of a Silhouette mat. Ta-da! All done. No tears. To finish up our card, I'm going to die cut a white cardstock panel with a stitched rectangle die from MFT. I'm not sure what size it is. As you can see, it's a little smaller. I'm going to mat this on black, so it really pops and stands out. So I'm going to cut my panel a little bit smaller than a 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch card. Ta-da! There's our panel. Now, to actually build our heart, what I'm going to do is I'm going to adhere all the little pieces of my heart onto some white typewriter paper. And it's just a piece of scrap paper that has stuff on it, and I'm just going to do that. So a little bit of glue and rock and roll through this. And I just literally put the glue down, and then I pick the next color and go on from there. So while I'm doing that, I'll tell you a little story. We live in Lynchburg, Virginia, and it has decided in Lynchburg this year, for whatever reason, and evidently across the country it seems, that it's not really going to be winter here. Oh, but tomorrow it's really going to be winter here. But nope, tomorrow it's going to be in the 50s. Oh, nope, the next day it's going to be -1. So I have, as I've mentioned many times, that my craft room is in the basement, and I have one of those little what are they called? Infrared heaters that my mom got me for Christmas the other year because there's no heat in the basement. Well, the past couple of weeks I've noticed that the heat pump isn't cutting on near as much, because evidently my heater in the basement is heating the basement and the first floor. And all the vents in the upstairs are cut off because that's where the bedrooms are. The one in the bathroom, of course, is still open. But the bedroom vents are all off to push the heat down into the living area space. And I think my little heater in the basement's heating the whole house. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but that's what's happening right now because my heat pump's not cutting on. But the house is like 72 degrees. It's crazy. I've never. But anyway. So I thought I would share that with you because we're getting ready to get hit with snow again, I think. And I know some of y'all out in the Midwest and up in the northern states are just inundated with snow. And here in Central Virginia, sometimes we get snow, sometimes we get ice, sometimes we just get sleet, you know, just icky stuff. And this year it's just been crazy. One day it's 60 degrees and the next day it's pouring snow for 3 feet. It's just crazy. It's just been nuts. So I think I'm on almost the last, nope, I'm on the last heart here, and I'm literally just gluing these down and stacking them up, making sure they're butted up against each other. And I wanted to pop my heart up. That's the reason that I did this on scrap paper. I did, instead of just adhering it straight down onto my white panel, I wanted to actually pop it up a little bit. So to cut this out, instead of just cutting straight down, you're going to tilt your scissors a little bit and undercut your die cut hearts. So you're cutting under the edge of it so the white typewriter paper doesn't show. And I take my time doing this because I'm not very good at like fussy cutting and stuff. It's just not one of the things I enjoy doing. And this is kind of like fussy cutting, except you'll see it. Your black marker's not going to help you on that. So I just take my time and do this, undercutting and making sure that my scissors stay tilted and making sure that everything still stays adhered. And then I'm going to put some foam tape on the back of my heart and adhere it down to the front of my card. The one thing that I don't show in this video, because I did it afterwards, but you'll see it in the pictures, is adding the sentiment. So my white card panel, I'll pull out my big old tape gun here. Big mama gun! Wah-ha! I feel so powerful when I use it. I really do. It brings joy for that big pink thing in my hand. So I'm going to adhere the white centered on my black card panel that's just plain. And I wanted to keep this card really simple. We didn't spend a whole lot of time die cutting. And of course, if you have regular heart dies to run through your die cut machine, you can definitely do this with heart dies as well. Guess what? I don't own heart dies, but I do have nested hearts for my silhouette. So that's why I went this route. So here's my foam tape. The other thing that I wanted to say about this is you could do this with any nested shape that you wanted to. So if you wanted to turn it into a birthday card for a kid, you could do stars on it. Or even if you have some nested balloons, that would be really cool. Just about any nested shape for this would, and just change up the sentiment, would work amazingly well for a simple quick card. So I'm going to center this on the panel, and the reason that you don't see me do the sentiment on here is because I didn't realize I have a phone number, I think, written on my hand. Is because I'm going to put some aqua shimmer pen on the center heart, and then I'm going to coat it with glossy accents. And so the glossy accents had to set aside to dry, and I had to put a note on it so I did not stick my fingers in it while I was doing other stuff. So I put the aqua shimmer pen on here, and I went ahead and coated it with glossy accents. I did not worry about whether or not there was bubbles in my glossy accents when it dried. I didn't worry about whether or not it was 100% perfect. What I wanted it to have some texture. But to fill in a heart like this, the way that I've always done it is I go around the outside edge, pardon my big old head, and I start filling in that side that I just did. And then I'll go around the outside edge on the other side and fill that in. This is an old bottle of glossy accents. I'm talking, I got this in a kit 100 years ago. I have no idea what kit it came from. It was a long time ago. And I just had never used it. And I was like, well, I'm not going to throw that away. I can still use it. It's not thick. It still works great. So I'm just going to use it up, and then I'll pull out my big bottle again. So there's the glossy accents. Here's my note. Okay. I want to thank y'all so much for joining me. And here in just a second, and I left the note in here because it's kind of funny. The sentiment strip is coming up. Thank you for joining me today, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Head over to my blog for more information about this die cut heart card at jillcameroncreations.com. You can also subscribe to my newsletter, and I have some freebies over there as well that you can grab for your crafting needs. Thanks so much, and y'all have a great day.